What if I told you that a single, small, and secret Russian unit is behind some of the most brazen acts of sabotage, assassination, and chaos in recent memory? An explosion at an ammunition depot in a NATO country, killing 2 people and causing damage worth tens of millions of dollars. A nerve agent attack on a quiet English street, leaving a former spy and his daughter fighting for their lives and killing an innocent woman. A failed coup in a Balkan nation just as it was about to join NATO. A massive cyber attack meant to cripple a country's government only weeks before a full-scale invasion. These aren't random acts of violence. They aren't isolated incidents. They are the carefully planned work of a single ghost unit operating in the shadows of Russia's military intelligence directorate, the GRU. For over a decade, this top-secret team has been carrying out the Kremlin's most dangerous, sensitive, and deniable orders around the world. This unit has been active since at least 2008, but its existence only really came to light in 2019. They're a squad of decorated veterans from Russia's brutal wars in Afghanistan, Chechnya, and Ukraine, handpicked for their skills in subversion, sabotage, and assassination. They are the very tip of the spear in Russia's hybrid war against the West. This is the story of GRU Unit 29155 and how it runs Russia's shadow war. Our story starts on March 4th, 2018, in the quiet, historic city of Salisbury, England. It's a place known for its stunning cathedral, a classic British town. But on that day, it became the stage for an audacious assassination attempt that would send shockwaves across the globe. At 4:15 p.m., a 66-year-old man and a 33-year-old woman were found slumped on a park bench, unresponsive. The man was Sergei Skripal, a former GRU colonel convicted in Russia for being a double agent for Britain's MI6. He'd been living a quiet life in Salisbury since 2010 after a prisoner swap. The woman was his daughter Yulia, visiting from Moscow. First responders were baffled. The Skripals were critically ill, but had no visible injuries. A local police officer, Detective Sergeant Nick Bailey, searched their home and also became gravely ill. Panic gripped the city as health officials scrambled to figure out what was happening. The answer, when it finally came, was terrifying. Novichok. It's a military-grade nerve agent developed by the Soviet Union, so lethal a microscopic drop can kill. The use of a chemical weapon on British soil launched one of the most complex investigations in UK counterterrorism history. More than 250 detectives sifted through thousands of hours of CCTV footage and took hundreds of statements. They found the highest concentration of the novichok on the front door handle of Sergei Skripal's home. It had been smeared there, a trap waiting for him to touch it. The Skripals and DS Bailey survived, but the story took another tragic turn. 4 months later, in the nearby town of Amesbury, a 44-year-old woman named Dawn Sturgis died. She had sprayed herself with what she thought was a bottle of Nina Ricci perfume her partner, Charlie Rowley, had found in a charity bin. It wasn't perfume. It was the same novichok from the Skripal attack, carelessly discarded by the assassins. A public inquiry later concluded that the assassination attempt on Skripal must have been authorized at the highest level by President Putin, and that he and everyone involved were morally responsible for Dawn Sturgis's death. The big question for investigators was, who did this? The breakthrough came from CCTV footage. 2 men using the names Alexander Petrov and Ruslan Bashirov were seen flying from Moscow to London, taking a train to Salisbury, and flying back to Moscow, all in under 48 hours. The Russian government put the two men on state TV, where they claimed they were just tourists who wanted to see Salisbury's world-famous cathedral spire. It was a story so absurd, it was widely ridiculed. So who were they really? The answer didn't come from MI6 or the CIA, but from a group of online investigative journalists at Bellingcat. By painstakingly digging through leaked Russian passport databases, phone records, and social media, they unmasked the so-called tourists. Ruslan Bashirov was actually Anatoly Chapiga, a highly decorated GRU colonel and a designated hero of the Russian Federation. Alexander Petrov was Alexander Mishkin, a GRU military doctor. Later, a third man, using the name Sergei Fedotov, was identified as Denis Sergeyev, a high-ranking GRU officer believed to be the on-the-ground commander. These weren't just hired thugs. They were elite officers of Russian military intelligence, and they all belonged to the same clandestine unit, 29155. The Salisbury attack was the world's first real look into this ghost unit's operations. It revealed their ruthlessness and their willingness to use banned chemical weapons on foreign soil. And as investigators would soon find out, this was far from their first mission. Unmasking the Salisbury assassins was like pulling on a loose thread. The more journalists and investigators tugged, the more a much larger, darker story of European sabotage began to unravel. It turned out the men from Unit 29155 had been very busy for years, leaving a trail of explosions and assassination attempts across the continent. Let's rewind to October 16, 2014. In a forest in the Czech Republic, near a village called Vrbetica, an ammunition depot suddenly exploded with incredible force. The blast killed 2 Czech citizens and forced entire villages to evacuate. The cleanup would take over 6 years. Then less than 2 months later, on December 3rd, a second depot at the same site also blew up. The total damage was estimated at over 1 billion Czech koruna, or about $47 million. For years, everyone thought it was just a horrible accident. But in April 2021, the Czech Prime Minister dropped a bombshell. There was reasonable suspicion that Russia's GRU, specifically Unit 29155, was behind the explosions. The depots, it turned out, held ammunition that was supposed to go to a Bulgarian arms dealer, Emilian Gabrev. He was selling weapons to Ukraine right after Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea. The motive was suddenly crystal clear: stop weapons from getting to Ukrainian soldiers. And who were the saboteurs sent to Vrbetica? Czech police identified 2 men who visited the site using fake passports. Their photos were instantly recognizable: Anatoly Chapiga and Alexander Mishkin, the same 2 operatives who would later carry out the Salisbury poisoning. Their travel records showed them arriving in Prague, traveling to the depot region, and flying out of Europe on the very day of the first explosion. The connection was undeniable. In May 2024, Czech police issued an arrest warrant for the commander of Unit 29155, Major General Andrei Averyanov, for his role in the operation. The thread then led investigators to Bulgaria. In April 2015, about 6 months after the Vrbetica explosion, the arms dealer Emilian Gabrev collapsed at a dinner in Sofia. He slipped into a coma with signs of severe poisoning. His son and a company executive also got sick. Doctors were stumped, but Gabrev miraculously survived. A month later, while recovering at his seaside home, he was poisoned again. And again he survived. For years, the cause was a mystery. But after the Salisbury attack, Gabrev sent his preserved medical samples to a specialized lab. The results were shocking. He'd been poisoned with a substance from the novichok family, the same class of nerve agent used on the Skripals. Investigative journalists once again pieced the puzzle together. Travel records showed a team of GRU officers from Unit 29155 had been in Bulgaria during both poisoning attempts. One of them was a man traveling as Sergei Fedotov, the same alias used by Denis Sergeyev, the commander of the Salisbury hit team. The mission in Bulgaria was a direct attempt to assassinate the man whose weapons they had just blown up. But the unit wasn't just about sabotage and poison. In October 2016, they were linked to a brazen coup attempt in Montenegro. On election day, a group of Serbian nationalists planned to storm parliament, kill the pro-Western prime minister, and install a pro-Russian government. The plot was stopped at the last minute. Montenegrin authorities traced the plan's funding and organization back to two Russian intelligence officers. One of them, Eduard Shishmakov, was a member of Unit 2 9155. The goal, stop Montenegro from joining NATO, which it did a year later. From an English town to a Czech forest, a Bulgarian hotel, and the Montenegrin parliament, the same unit was at work. They weren't just assassins. They were an all-purpose tool for destabilisation. Their operations were sometimes sloppy. They failed to kill Skripal, Gabrev, or the prime minister. But their audacity was stunning. They operated as if they were untouchable, ghosts who could sow chaos and just disappear. And for a long time, they were right. So, how do you expose a ghost? In the 21st century, the answer isn't always a daring spy operation run by MI6 or the CIA. Sometimes it's just a few determined researchers with laptops, using information that's already out there. This is how open source intelligence, or OSINT, tore the mask off Unit 2 9155. The old world of espionage was all about secrets and classified files. But the modern world runs on data. Every time we travel, use a phone, or post on social media, we leave a digital footprint. For years, spy agencies thought this didn't apply to them. Their spies used fake names and burner phones. But they overlooked a huge vulnerability: the often corrupt and leaky data systems of their own country. The key that unlocked the real identities of the Salisbury poisoners was a series of leaked Russian databases sold on the black market. For just a few $100s, journalists could buy data with passport info, flight manifests, and car registrations for millions of Russian citizens. It was like a high-stakes puzzle. Investigators started with the aliases Ruslan Boshirov and Alexander Petrov. They knew their rough ages. Searching the databases, they found passport files that looked strange. They had no history, no addresses, and were often marked top secret, a dead giveaway of a state-issued fake ID. The real breakthrough came from a simple hypothesis. Maybe the GRU issued fake passports with sequential numbers. By searching for numbers close to those of Boshirov and Petrov, they stumbled upon other suspicious files and eventually their real identities. Boshirov was unmasked when they found his original passport file under the name Anatoly Chepiga. The photo was a perfect match. From there, his whole life story emerged. Born in a small village, attended a top military academy, served in Chechnya. They even found a wedding photo from 2017 where Chepiga and other members of Unit 2 9155 were posing together. Alexander Petrov became Alexander Mishkin through a similar process. They found his real St. Petersburg address and even the Volvo he owned. The digital ghost was becoming a real person. These same OSINT techniques exposed the unit's entire network. Flight records showed teams of 29155 operatives traveling together across Europe. French intelligence later confirmed the unit had set up a rear base in the Alps, using it as a launchpad for operations. Between 2014 and 2018, at least 15 members of the unit passed through the area. This new era of digital sleuthing has been a game changer. It showed that in our hyper-connected world, nobody is truly a ghost. Every spy agency leaves a data trail. And for Unit 29155, the operatives who thought they were invisible were ultimately exposed by their own digital shadows. While Unit 2 9155 is known for explosions and nerve agents, their work isn't limited to the physical world. They're also key players in Russia's hybrid warfare strategy, which blends conventional military force with covert ops and digital attacks. Since at least 2020, the unit has aggressively expanded into offensive cyber operations, becoming a full-spectrum force for disruption. According to a joint cybersecurity advisory from the NSA, FBI, and allied nations in September 2024, Unit 29155 is behind a global campaign of cyber attacks. Their goals are simple: steal sensitive information, leak data to damage reputations, and, most destructively, cripple critical systems. The unit's most infamous cyber operation happened on January 13, 2022, just weeks before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. A new destructive malware called Whispergate spread across Ukrainian government networks. It was cleverly disguised as ransomware, even displaying a ransom note. But that was just a trick. Whispergate was a wiper, malware designed not to make money, but to permanently delete data and destroy computers. Whispergate hit over 70 Ukrainian government organizations, corrupting their systems. The attack was meant to sow chaos and panic, degrading Ukraine's ability to respond to the coming invasion. The UK, US, and other partners have since confirmed that Unit 29155 was behind the attack, and they haven't stopped. The unit's cyber wing has targeted numerous NATO members, often focusing on critical infrastructure, government services, financial systems, energy grids, and healthcare. The FBI has seen them scanning for vulnerabilities in at least 26 NATO countries. The cyber team of Unit 29155 is thought to be a mix of junior GRU officers gaining experience and hired cyber criminals. This blend of state power and underworld talent makes them incredibly dangerous and adaptable. They often use common, off-the-shelf hacking tools, which makes it hard to pin the attacks on them at first. In response, the United States has sanctioned multiple members of the unit's cyber team. The State Department is even offering a reward of up to $10 million for information on 5 of the unit's cyber officers and one of their civilian collaborators. The rise of Unit 29155's cyber arm shows how modern conflict is evolving. The battlefield isn't just on land, sea, or air, it's also in cyberspace. An explosion at an ammo depot and a wiper attack on a government server aren't separate things. In the eyes of the GRU, they're two sides of the same coin, different tools for the same strategic goal of destabilizing and defeating their enemies. So who's the mastermind behind this global campaign of chaos? These operations aren't the work of rogue agents. They are state-sanctioned, highly organized, and led by a seasoned GRU general. The commander of Unit 29155 is Major General Andrei Averyanov. A veteran of Russia's wars and a graduate of a Soviet military academy, he is based at the unit's headquarters, the 161st Special Purpose Specialist Training Center in eastern Moscow. This isn't some secret hideout. It's an official Russian military installation. Under Averyanov's command, the unit has built a tight-knit, loyal culture. Its members are decorated soldiers, chosen for their experience and ideological commitment. When they complete a mission, they don't just get a quiet payoff, they get state honors. Anatoly Chapiga, the Salisbury poisoner, was named a hero of the Russian Federation for his role in annexing Crimea. General Averyanov himself received the same award in 2015. These awards are a clear signal from the very top of the Russian government, including Vladimir Putin, that these actions are celebrated in private, even as they are denied in public. It frames assassinations and sabotage not as crimes, but as patriotic duties. This high-level approval explains the unit's breathtaking audacity. Averyanov himself isn't hiding in the shadows. He was photographed at the 2023 Russia-Africa Summit, standing near Vladimir Putin, a clear sign of his importance. Some reports even suggest he's been tasked with taking over some of the African operations once run by the late Wagner chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin. The command structure ensures that every mission, from the coup attempt in Montenegro to the sabotage in Czechia and the cyber attacks on Ukraine, is a calculated move in a geopolitical chess game. Each play is approved and directed by the highest levels of the Russian state, with men like Averyanov responsible for executing them. His central role is so clear that in May 2024, the Czech police officially declared him a wanted man for his command responsibility in the Verbetice explosions. The story of GRU Unit 29155 is a chilling look at the changing face of modern warfare. This is a war fought in the gray zones, where a nerve agent, a bomb, and a line of malicious code are all weapons in the same arsenal. For over a decade, this single unit has been the Kremlin's go-to team for its most aggressive and sensitive operations. They've tried to kill defectors, blow up ammo depots, overthrow governments, and wage a relentless cyber war. They've operated with a mix of professional skill and shocking recklessness. The unmasking of Unit 29155 was a huge intelligence failure for Russia, but it hasn't stopped their work. The unit has simply adapted, shifting more of its focus to cyberspace, where it's harder to prove who's behind an attack. The joint advisories from Western intelligence agencies in September 2024 make it clear. The unit's cyber campaign is ongoing and relentless. The shadow war continues. The operatives of Unit 29155 are still at their posts, waiting for their next orders. Their existence forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. The lines between war and peace have been blurred. An act of sabotage or a cyber attack can be just as strategic as a military invasion, but it offers the aggressor the powerful shield of deniability. As long as states are willing to use units like 29155, the world will remain a battlefield. The only difference is that now, the soldiers are ghosts, and the attacks come from the shadows.